Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is Johannes. I work as a executive director here for EDAG Brazil. First of all, I'd like to apologize my voice. I'm a bit sick actually here in Brazil. The weather has been a little bit crazy for the past few days. And I know we have a few friends from Germany here in this webinar with us in our audience, not only in between the speakers, but also in our audience. So just to let you know that here it's been cold and also it's been hot as well. So without further ado, I would just like to be welcome to this webinar. This is one of the first times that we've been doing this international webinars. So maybe we can, depending on your feedback, do this as a web series, make this a continuous project or something. And today, especially, you're going to be talking about the future of urban mobility, right? So it's a very important topic, not only for Brazil, not only for Germany, but also worldwide. So I have a few guests, a few important people that will be joining me today that I would like to present you. So first of all, Johannes, you're the first one. I would like you to say a few words just for the public to know who you are. And afterwards, we will start your presentation. Welcome to our virtual stage.
Yeah, thank you for invitation. Well, my name is Johannes Barckmann. I'm from Germany. So, it's very cold here. The winter time is coming. And I'm the global design manager of EDAG, which is a service engineering partner of the automotive industry. And I'd like to inform you about our project for urban mobility, which sounds like a vision or utopic, but we are going step by step into the development phase, and that's a story about later.
Very nice. Thank you, Johannes. I'll ask now for Professor Roberto to present himself. Roberto, welcome.
So, hello, everyone. My name is Roberto Marx. I'd like to thank João and Alessandro for the invitation. I am a professor at the Production Engineering Department at the University of São Paulo, Brazil. I work with this subject, not very much intensively in the technological issues, but more related to the management side of the urban mobility. And I am also a coordinator of a research group that I will inform the website of this group later on. And so thank you very much. Good morning for the people that are in Brazil now, and good afternoon at the people of Europe. And in a few minutes, I will start my brief presentation.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you, Johannes. And now I'll have in our screen Alessandro. Alessandro is not only as a DAG, a client of VDI, but also a friend of mine. Alessandro, please feel very welcome here at our stage. Today you're going to be our moderator, so I'd like you to present yourself and also start to conduct our conversation today.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. For some ones in Germany, it's good afternoon, right? Yeah. So thank you very much for this kind of invitation. So I'm automation engineer, and that I work. I have worked for the last 25 years in the mobility field, working for some OEMs in Brazil and also in Germany. And I have some experience, academic experience in the US and also in Canada. So I hope that we can share today a very good knowledge with Professor and also Mr. Barckmann. We have brought a lot of knowledge. We have brought a lot of experience together. So, and everybody knows, right, that the urban mobility, it's a big issue today, right? And one of the most important solutions is to use technologies. And the urban mobility is undergoing a remarkable evolution, driven by unprecedented urbanization, climate concerns, and technology advancements. So, in this dynamic session that we have today, we hope to delve into the complex landscape of urban transportation, examine challenges that loom large, and the innovative solutions that promise to shape our cities for generations to come. So, thank you very much, and welcome, Professor Roberto Marx. Thank you very much for your time and to attend this webinar to us. And also welcome Mr. Barckmann, yeah, who is the Global Design Manager for EDAG AG. And okay, guys, let's start first with the Professor Roberto Marx. Let's go ahead, Professor.
Okay. My presentation should be shared with everyone.
Yes, it is on the screen,
Okay.
Professor.
Okay.
I'll
Yes.
just ask you to click on this hide button that is appearing on your
Okay.
screen.
In a minute.
Yeah. Now we're ready.
Okay. So I will give some insights about what I can understand as being the main academic line of research. I will talk mainly about what I can see and understand about the research being conducted in the University of São Paulo and some of our other universities that we share some research. It's not, of course, a complete overview of what is being done at all universities in Brazil. Not to say about what is going on in other countries. So I will be talking about only about my knowledge of what is the main lines of research conducted by people that I know and people that I are working with. My name is Roberto Marx. My email address is there, robertomarx@usp.br, and the other address is the page that we have in the internet where my research lab explains the main topics about what we are conducting in terms of research. This the Mobilab laboratory in the University of São Paulo. If you are interested in knowing more about what we are conducting now in terms of research. Well, I will start with the main common assumptions in terms of the research related to future of human mobility, as I have already told in terms of the Brazilian point of view. There are some, I should say, common assumptions in respect of almost all the studies that I am aware. And I will focus, of course, in terms of what is going on in the Brazilian environment. But this first assumptions, I think it's a very common one in terms of every country we can see. The first common assumption will be that we are seeing a panorama where crisis and opportunity coexists as a result of new technology that are coming, like, for example, the electromobility and so on, and the challenges that environment axis present to every research that we could develop. If you think about what is going on in São Paulo, for example, a big city in Brazil, we have a lot of traffic jams, we have a lot of pollution, a lot of environment issues that must be taken into account. And the electromobility or the autonomous vehicles could be something that could help to not solve, but to better cope with those challenges. But we have to, at the same time, a lot of bottlenecks that have to be taken into account. So electromobility, it's a fact. It's something that we will see in maybe in short term, a little bit in Brazil, but in the next years to come, electromobility will be, of course, something that will be every year more important. But how to conduct the transitions between the internal combustion engine and the electromobility. In Brazil, there is a lot of discussions and a lot of challenges to conduct these transitions, because as you may know, we have the ethanol in Brazil. We are the main country that uses ethanol in cars, mainly in cars, but and of course, this is a renewable source of energy in Brazil, and there is a very deep discussions between because some firms representative and other specialists see ethanol as something like a substitute of the electromobility. There is a very strong discussion in the country concerning what will be the space of ethanol instead of or with the electromobility as a source of energy of the engines in Brazil. But in my opinion, we don't have, of course, ethanol is a reality, and these transitions, the transitions in Brazil, you have to take into account the ethanol as a reality that we have to cope with. Another assumptions in every research conducted in the country is that individual car emphasis must give consideration placed to public transport. It means that public transport is something that, at least in Brazil, we have to focus more instead of the individual car. Especially in Brazil, that it's a country with a lot of inequalities, especially social inequalities, income inequalities, and people in general have a lot of difficulties in paying for the public transport. A lot of people don't have condition to have the individual car. So thinking about the future of human mobility, independently of what will be the engine, ethanol, hybrid, or electric, all these technological issues have to be oriented to serve the people. And in terms of the Brazil, it means giving a lot of focus in public transport. This is the one thing that we have to take into account. Another thing that I have already mentioned, that we will see in the future, not only in Brazil, but in every country we consider, different sources of energy motorization. And what will be the main one, what will be the space for every kind of motorizations is something open to consideration, to the future, to the acting and public policies, and the way firms can cope with those challenges. And we don't have to put effort in only one or two sources. We have to consider And I think in the future, not only me, but the people that I work with they all of them see that we have to see. We will see a lot of different sources of energy, a lot of different ways of running vehicles. As I had already mentioned, economic and social inequalities characterizes the Brazilian environment in general, and of course, the panorama of Brazilian urban mobility scene. And the academic point of view is very much influenced by these assumptions. And of course, urban mobility has a lot to do in this field. We have a lot of problems concerning urban mobility related to the social and economic inequalities, and providing better ways for the people to move from home to work, or moving from one place to another for people that works in the streets, are something that have to be very much focused and must be at least something that the public policies will have to take into account very carefully. At the other hand, the travel experience, mainly if you think about buses and underground and metro, must gain more and more quality, and the tariff must be reasonable ones. At the same time, attention to the environmental issues are critical. So this balance of making the transport experience more and more affordable and with a quality, at the same time that giving attention to the environmental issues must be something that will orient and are oriented the research at the moment and in the near future as well. So I like to give some examples of what is at my knowledge about some research subjects that are taking place at the moment in some areas, starting with the engineering, more related issues. Something that are being made in the university is I bring to you four lines of research. The first one is how to improve the ethanol engines in terms of emissions and performance. We have the ethanol engines running in the Brazilian scene since I think 20 or more years, but there is a lot of space for these engines to be better in terms of lower emissions and a better performance. And there is a lot of efforts being developed in this area in the university engineering schools. The other one is the way ethanol could be the main energy source of hydrogen cells. People that live in Brazil, that is accompanying what is being done in the university. Recently, we have demonstrations of hydrogen cells that is running with the source of ethanol in the University of São Paulo. And there is some experience being done in this area, what would be, I think, very important for the future, changing the ethanol as a source of energy instead of electric or other kind of energy source to produce and to run hydrogen cells. We have already a lot of different groups in the country are studying the emissions comparison between different motorizations, ethanol, hybrid, electric, and other ones, using the life cycle assessment method. And a lot of studies, the main part of the studies, point to the very interesting numbers when you use only ethanol as the combustion of engines. Full ethanol engines, comparing with the electric vehicle, shows a comparison very something near in terms of CO2 emissions. So one more time, there is signs that ethanol is a very interesting way of running vehicles in the country. Another example of engineering research is the teaching methods of urban and sustainable mobility to engineering studies. Exactly at the moment, we have a coalition with a German school and a Mexican school, along with the University of São Paulo, to produce research and to develop a course in these issues that will be teach to engineering students in these three universities. Continuing, there is also some research subjects being done at the business and operation management arena. One of them is the evaluation and proposition of what is called in Brazil as the zero tariff in Brazilian cities. There is something related to the economic point of view as a way to produce free rides in the public sector and public transport in Brazil, and another way of financing those way of moving people from one area to another. There is a lot of discussion and research being developed in this issue. Another one is the designing future motorization scenarios, taking into account very theoretical approach, a very useful approach, named socio-technical transitions, that try to see the future, studying different scenarios of different ways of combining electrical vehicles, traditional vehicles, or ethanol running vehicles, and try to conclude those and to design the scenarios, taking into account the different actors that influence those scenarios. And one more line of research is how established assemblers are redesigning its mobility strategy given the technology and environment pressures. It's something that we have in Brazil, where we have a lot of different producers. We have in Brazil something more than 30 different companies producing cars, trucks, and buses. And the traditional ones face more difficulties in conducting the transition between the new technologies, and we are studying those efforts in terms of these moving trajectories. And finally, we have three examples of the point of view of social sciences related to studies in future mobility issues. Of course, research on inequalities in relation to urban mobility, what will be the access of different segments of the population, the perception of service quality, the time spent on trips, cost issues, etc. For example, only for you who don't live in the country, we have a lot of people that cannot afford to pay the fare to use the public transport, and they, when it's possible, they walk from home to the work when possible, of course, to spend this money that is a very significant one for the significant part of the population. So the issues about those inequalities is something very important for the social science researchers. Another one is the public policies analysis and the comparison of results, take into account different countries and cities. People from the social sciences, but not only social sciences, but along with the people from the economic and maybe some researchers from the engineering point of view, trying to analyze and sometimes propose public policies for the Brazilian panorama, or especially for some cities like São Paulo, that is a very complex one in terms of future mobility, and compare those public policies with another cities in the country or in other countries. And finally, the impact of electromobility on the traditional supply chain. What would be the impact and the responses that second-tier or third-tier companies and other actors like government and other kind of organizations are giving in face of the impact of the new technologies, especially electromobility. So my presentation is that. I will be open to questions. And
Yeah,
thank you very
Professor,
much.
yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Professor. I think it was a very good knowledge that you shared to us now. And by the end, I have already received here some questions from Germany and also from Brazil, from colleagues. And that by the end of as soon Mr. Barckmann, that will be the next one, finish his presentation as well, and then can open for questions. I have already segregate here some questions to you, very good ones. I have received it. And by the end of the webinar, I will do it to you. Thank you very much, Professor. It was very great. Very great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Barckmann, now you'll be the next one. Thank you again, Mr. Barckmann, to be here with us and to share your knowledge, to share what we are doing at here in EDAG globally, and to help and try to improve the urban mobility, right? Thank you a lot. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for introduction. And it was very interesting to see the Brazilian point of view, Roberto. Thanks for that. My talk will more came from the Euro point of view, especially, of course, Germany. So I like to introduce the EDAG study bot to all of you. It started like a usual concept car, let's say. We did 30 about that in the past, but we are pushed by politics, by cities, and by, let's say, customers to go further with this one. And since 2019, we are really working hard to get this concept alive. And it's not only a car, let's say, it's a complete ecosystem which we are developing for all urban transport and work tasks in a smart city. So we need, of course, a lot of interaction with smart city sensoric, which makes it more safe and also profitable and efficient. And of course, you all know the situations in our cities. I don't have to talk about that. We have big pollution, space problems in the city. 80% of Madrid is covered by cars. We still have accident, climate regulations. And unfortunately, the public transportation systems has peak-off periods and don't have any chance to be profitable. They are refinanced by waste disposal in Europe. And there's a big race also in Europe, metropolitan cities like Barcelona, Paris, Berlin, Vienna, etc., who is fading out of private cars until 2030. And this even pushes our concept in a quite good way. And we ask ourselves how to design a supporting public transportation system for the urban area, including delivery, of course. And as a designer, we are looking into future and looking which is the best solution the nature provides for our special problem. And if you think about the masterpiece of logistic transportation, then it's our human blood circulation system, which we all have in us. So there's no traffic light, no congestion, and everything is constantly in flow. And this idea, this principle of the blood circulation system, we try to convert into our urban areas. And so we redefine that traffic is only a logistical problem. But there's also a technological opportunity in the moment. So even if we go with electric or hydrogen drive and autonomous cars, we will stuck into traffic jams too. So nothing really happens except maybe reducing some emissions. So that now we have the chance, in combination with digitalization and autonomous driving cars, to effectively combat gridlocks. So our idea is to have a lot of autonomous cars, which are like puppets on strings, guided by control software. And of course, we need a 5G network, which is a problem in Germany these days, but I think all over the world it's available. And so we invented the CityBot, launched this one in Frankfurt in 2019, and it's a fully automated robot car, which is fully networked. So we have swarm intelligence, the CityBots talking to each other, of course, but they are also completely networked in the environment, so in the smart city. It's a modular system, so we can divide the tractor module from trailer or backpack modules. It's electric driven in the moment, battery electric, but the package also serves the fuel cell drive in the future. And we have 4 in-wheel engines, so each wheel is steered and driven independently. So it's a very agile chassis finally. And you might recognize the head over here. This is the so-called avatar for human-machine interaction. So the avatar is like Siri. You can talk to him. It's answering and also give eye feedback of emotions. The idea of the decoupling brings us to a lot of modules which you can adapt to the tractor like gadgets, so that we assume an operation time of 24/7. So the whole day the tractor is working, and we expect a really efficient and profitable transportation and work system. So during the daytime, the CityBot is transporting people and goods for last mile delivery with several modules which can be adapted. And during the nighttime, when the city is going to sleep, let's say, it's sweeping the road, emptying trash bins, pushing snow, in Germany, of course, cutting grass, cutting hedges, and so on. So the idea is to give a lot of modules to the tractor system to be to work during the complete day. We have our vision video here. Hope you see it. So the heart of control is the traffic control software. And you see the CityBot cutting hedges here in the moment. The idea is that the CityBot is not an enemy or invader in the city. It should be the best buddy of all the citizens. And as you see here, even the dog is not has no fear about the CityBot. The cities, of course, has to delineate a special area for the operation of the CityBot. So we don't allow mixed traffic. There are only bicycles and pedestrians allowed, so that these situations here, which looks a bit like suicide, should be reality, because all the bots are reacting in foresight manner to any event which happens inside the city. We have sensoric trash bins, which orders the emptying by themselves, and the trash bin pays the money after emptying by Jota coins. It's a machine-to-machine currency to the system. And of course, the city board knows the complete time schedule of the city, and if they have brought the people to the event, they know without booking that the people like to go back to home, so they can automatically. As we don't allow mixed traffic, the private cars are not available in this area. They are outside the donut area. And we put the microfactories inside the dark cellar levels of park houses. They do the maintenance over there and the fueling, of course, and they adapt themselves automatically to the next module, which is needed for the next work task. The side stripes, so in Europe, bicycle or cycling is very famous. The side stripes of the roads are empty, so we put cycle paths over there and finally give back a lot of room and space to the citizens or to the city itself. We don't have the need for Neom City or Woven City, which they are planning in Japan, or Arabic. We think that our system is be able to be implemented in existing cities around the world. We need, of course, some critical infrastructure like 5G network and let's say the area which is, let's say, mixed traffic free. So this was a vision, and step by step we put this in reality. And in Germany, the ministry is looking for answers towards the new mobility solutions. And we show with the city board a complete ecosystem where every stakeholder is involved. And we show that this is how the mobility revolution works. And we, with the city bots, we are finally the ultimate answer to all urban mobility challenges. So we avoid emissions, of course, no traffic jam, fewer accidents, absolutely more climate protection. And what's important for Europe is more cycle paths and space for encounters. Yeah, just to let you have an idea of the operation zone, it's more or less like a donut. In this donut, there's no mixed traffic allowed. So the private cars of the citizens are parking outside the donut. They will be brought by the city bots to this place, go into the private cars, drive 3 minutes and say, oh, the donut should be bigger because I stuck in jam. Again. Pedestrians, bicycles are allowed, of course, and the city board speed is around 30 km, which is 3 times faster than the average speed in London, for instance. So finally, we are the first and only mobility system that effectively counteracts gridlocks. So jams and gridlocks are history for us. We have an AI-based traffic control, which is like a chess game, let's say. If a city bot is going to stop, the system gives him another route tracking because one rule is never stop except you are emptied or loaded. We reduce accidents. We have 80% fewer vehicles in the city. So the city is really getting clear. In Germany, we have 580 cars per thousand citizens, and we can reduce it down to 100 city bots per 1,000 people, including the work of in the communes. We are absolutely efficient and profitable, 80% utilization of the tractor. We have no off-peak problems, and also the cabling of the modules are automated. One advantage, again, is that we have one software umbrella, let's say. All services are covered in one software. We have an open API and interface for IoT devices. We only need one data security, cybersecurity software, and billing system is integrated due to Iota coins. And of course, all around sustainability, so zero emission during use, we have 8 years lifetime due to predictive maintenance of a lot of sensors inside the CityBot. And we expect also in CO2 neutral development and production. Yeah, as we are engineers at EDAG, we like also to prove the concept, and therefore we developed an AI prototype, which is a drivable and workable EDAG CityBot, and this one can pick up rubbish from the ground. It's not so easy because with this camera system and LiDAR sensors in the head, in the avatar, he first have to detect the rubbish on the ground. Then he had to calculate his movement, the trajectories, how to get there. And then with an additional camera system at this robot arm, he decided, or he detected, which kind of object is it? Is it a paper ball, a plastic can, or whatever, and put it in the correct part of the bot. So there would be the proof, let's say. In the moment, we are working within a funded project from the Ministry of Digital and Transportation in Germany. We received 10 million euros to go further with this. And the project is called Campus Free City. So it's a living laboratory for researching a networked fleet of modular robot vehicles. We have cool partners inside, like T-Systems, doing the remote control, teleoperation of the CityBot in case they don't know what to do. We have Eintracht, which is the stadium location. We have DEKRA for homologation and certification of the test area, and the bot himself, Compredict, which are doing virtual sensoric items, and universities in Fulda and Darmstadt to support everything. And the host of this project is the Holm in Frankfurt. Yeah, and we are going into the infrastructure of the Deutsche Bank Park, where you might know Eintracht Frankfurt, the Bundesliga soccer is placed. It's a huge area, 42 hectares. We have a lot of paths defined where we like to prove the system, and we have use cases like bringing handicapped people from the entrance into the stadium. So there's a ramp also available in our people mover. We are supporting the greenkeepers. We deliver beer and sausage, of course, to the kiosk. And there's also a automatically used case, watering plants by humidity sensoric. The idea is to find out the scalability into a next, let's say, location. So in the stadium, we have a little small city available with finally 2 more bots. But we like to look towards the efficiency in case of fleet management, traffic management, and order management. So the bots also can be ordered by a smartphone device, and there's no bus stop or whatever. So we are going to do this. The CityBot needs, of course, the complete digitized environment, so the digital twin of the surrounding. And this is what the colleagues are doing here. The CityBots take over the LiDAR sensor data, camera data, and GPS data for its static mapping, so that he knows where he is when we put the CityBot in real life into this area. Yeah, the humidity sensors I explained is automatically booked use case. If the earth is dry, then the sensor orders water for the plants or for the tree. In the moment, we are working on the hardware of 2 more tractors, on one people mover module, of one flatbed module, the watering module, to do all the use cases which are planning. To do this, the complete development, we prepared an area on our facilities, which is called EDAG CityBot Test Lab in Fulda, with the idea to have a stable system in Fulda and then move to Frankfurt without any problems. It's looking a bit like a Terminator. It's unbelievable technology inside, cables, sensor technique, mechatronic parts. We have the dashboard, teleoperation, workplace, and things like that. And as you feel, maybe it's not only the hardware which is interesting, and this is, let's say, a little bit easy for EDAG, because since 50 years we are developing cars. The software is the really hard piece and also the heart of this concept. And I told about the puppets on strings. This is the mobility backend, the steering software, which with order management, route planning, alert management, map management. The users with their devices can book, can order. Everything is combined in our infrastructure platform. Even the CityBots are only devices towards the infrastructure platform. We have the operation center where you are able to supervise any function of the bots and the environment, and we have the teleoperator. And the question in this funding project is how many teleoperators can handle the bots, how many people do you need. But the idea is that the bots are usually driving autonomous or highly automated, let's say, and in case of let's say, an undefined event, the teleoperator take over the control. Yeah, and it's not only hard software, it's also the thing that we try to find out ethical, legal, social implications, and also the citizens' acceptance if a fleet of robots will get into the city. End of this year, sorry, we take over the complete lab to Frankfurt and have our plannings over there. The current status is like this. You see the bot with the agile chassis can make spot turns, can drive diagonal, sidewards, whatever. And this agile chassis is needed if the CityBot is maybe cutting grass or sweeping the road. If a trailer is connected, then of course doesn't need the flexibility. Here you see the dashboard of the operation center to supervise. We make the test of braking and integration of near-field sensoric into the automated drive track. This is the connection, the coupling of the bot itself with the huge people mover in the back. In among, we can handle 3.5 tons with this. And so the development is getting further and further in case of the implementation of the software into the hardware. We hope to get it ready end of this year to go over with a stable system in the living laboratory in Frankfurt. You see also the movement. It's a test for brake test for DEKRA. So everything, as a usual car, we have to do the homologation and certification items. But the CityBot itself also very fast and agile. So we have 1,000 Newton meters. We have a lot of power inside the engines. Somehow they are over-engineered in this case, but on the other hand, it was really hard to find the right in-wheel engines for our system. Yeah, the brake test was done and was good. He survived, let's say. And so we are, preparing ourselves in the moment for the next step, which is an industry application. We think that this system is very good for airports, for apron area of the airport. And we are in discussion with some airports in Germany to install maybe a test area or really a business use case to get the system real. In 2030 is expected, and we are talking to Barcelona, also Zaragoza, to implement the system in a real city life. But until then, we have to learn a lot and we have to improve the system a lot. So this time is also needed for our development. Yeah, and thank you for listening. And this is what I like to talk to you and inform you about. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Mr. Barckmann. It was very great, and it's very nice to see that we are ahead of the most important technologies and also provide the great solutions for the future of urban mobility, right? Thanks a lot. And I have also received here a lot of
You're
questions to
welcome.
you. I don't know if we have enough time because you have only 8 minutes to go. But I
No,
will
sorry.
try to be, yeah, but I have it here collected also from the contacts and also the questions. Maybe later we can answer together and send it to the guys. But at least I will do one question for Mr. For Professor and one for you as well, Mr. Barckmann. Right? Let's start with Mr. Barckmann, right? So I have received here a question about technology advances. And the question here, Don, is how will autonomous vehicles impact the way of people and also goods are transported, right?
Hmm.
How is your view about this? It's a very good question.
Yeah, of course, there are a lot of topics we can put into this, but let me maybe start that autonomous cars will give more freedom to mobility because suddenly we have can transport people without a driving license, even children or drunken people, by these cars. And in case of our city bots, there will be no bus stop anymore, no time schedule for the buses. You can order your trip on demand and from everywhere you are. And of course, it's a chance to reduce accidents because autonomous cars are much more safe. On the other hand, we have some psychological challenges, let's say. So everybody is a co-driver with autonomous cars, and there might be a conflict potential maybe in case of why you drive so slow, don't drive so fast. So we believe that autonomous cars should be able to adapt individual driving experience to produce no frustration. And this is what we are focusing on. And the last mile delivery, of course, in Europe, the drivers are a high cost factor. And this is the only reason why they think about autonomous last mile delivery transportation.
Yeah, exactly. I have the same view of you.
Hmm.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Professor, uh, it's about partnership, right? And I have received here a question about what is how do you see and how do you evaluate partnerships between universities, between University of São Paulo, right, and also the companies I say that I could see in your presentation that we have some actions already doing, some partnerships with other universities, some companies here in Brazil to develop new technologies and so on. But how do you evaluate these kind of partnerships? We need to improve more. What kind of actions we are doing to improve that? You know.
Okay, Alessandro. In fact, we have it's not a very good scenario, I think, in terms of this relationship. Of course, I think both firms, enterprises, and the university, the universities, they recognize the importance of this relationship in general terms. But when you look at the actions and the collaboration itself, we have a lot to do in this context. The example that I give in my presentation, in my presentation, it's something very, very interesting that have a lot of space in newspaper and television. That is this subject of hydrogen cells run it with ethanol. But this is something that was this relationship what was was made possible by the intervention of a state-owned agency. The name of it is FAPESP, the Brazilian guy, you recognize it. FAPESP is a very important state-owned agency that look to foster the relationship between firms and universities. And the main project that we have in action at the moment would be possible by the action of FAPESP. Of course, there are some other examples, but I think we have a lot of space to fill in, the gap of this relationship. In terms of the technological advances, it's of course very important to have the research made by people in the technology arena, in the universities, and the knowledge of the business model or the introduction of this kind of innovations in the market. So we have a lot of things to do in this context, and we hope to see more and more initiatives in this area.
Okay, thanks a lot. So we have 2 minutes, but maybe you can be a little bit short, Mr. Barckmann. I have a very good questions here for you as well. Received from German, yeah, from German friends, right? So, uh, what do you think? It comes about environment and also sustainability concerns, right? So, how do you see how you car sharing, ride sharing, and also micro mobility solutions lead to
Mm.
decrease in private vehicle ownership and reduce congestion?
Mm.
Yeah, you showed to us the solution. The solution is
Yeah,
our project, right? But how
that's
do you
true.
see that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think, of course, sharing and pooling will help to decrease private vehicle, but we have to offer a clever additional mobility solution beside the current transportation, public transportation.
Mhm.
And my opinion, I explain it within the CityBot concept, is that we can avoid traffic jams only if we control autonomous cars and steer them and give them the concrete routes. And unfortunately, in this case, mixed traffic is not allowed because this manual steered car is a thrombus in the idea of blood
Right,
circulation
right, right,
system.
right. Yeah.
And within this control of the cars, I think that's the only way to get rid of traffic jams.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think our time is just to go.
Mm.
So, João, I think João from VGI is also here. Thank you. I
This
just like to
time.
thank you again, João. Thank you, VGA, for this great opportunity to us. and to have this opportunity to share our knowledge, also what we are doing, EDAG is doing. Yeah, EDAG is working so hard to improve and give the solutions for the urban mobility. And thank you, Mr. Barckmann, Professor Roberto is my professor. Yeah, also University of São Paulo. Thanks a lot, guys.
Welcome.
A pleasure. Welcome.
Thank you all. One last thing that I would like to mention is that we had a lot of questions. I'm seeing here in the chat that people were not answered. We would like to apologize for that, but we will generate a dashboard of this question so the speakers can answer you later. But we would like also to respect your time. We said it was going to be until 10 a.m. So we're gonna maintain our word as good Germans, right, Johannes? So we are already 1 minute late, right? So thank you all. Thank you, Alessandro. Thank you, Roberto. Thank you, Johannes. Thank you, our viewers, our listeners, VDI. I would like to thank you all, and we appreciate it. So I think now it's time for us to go. And thank you very much. And I hope to see you in future mobility or human mobility in the next time, next event, next webinars. Okay.
Very good.
Thank you all.
Very good.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye
Bye bye.
Bye.